If you've been scrolling through endless espresso machine videos, reading a handful of glossy ads, and still feel that knot of uncertainty wondering whether you should splurge on a high-end model or settle for a cheaper pod brew option, this review is here to cut through the noise. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I spent a solid weekend actually setting up a Jura E8 in my kitchen, running it through the morning rush, the lazy Sunday brunch, and even the occasional late-night espresso, so I can tell you what lives up to the hype and where the machine might leave you wanting more. First off, let's talk about the kind of coffee ritual this machine is built for. The Jura E8 is an automatic, Biantacup espresso system that promises barista-level drinks at the touch of a button. If you're the type who enjoys pulling a shot, steaming milk, and fine-tuning grind size every morning, you might feel that an automatic unit takes away the craft. But the reality is a bit different. The E8's one-touch milk system does the heavy lifting for you once you pop in the glass milk container. The machine froths, textures, and even cleans the system with a single press. In my test kitchen, that meant I could brew a double espresso, slide the milk container over, and have a smooth cappuccino ready in under a minute, without wrestling with a separate frother or cleaning the wand afterwards. Now, who should consider this bundle? The obvious answer is anyone who drinks 2 or more specialty coffee drinks a day and values consistency. The included coffee canister and measuring spoon make it easy to keep a steady supply of beans on hand and dose them accurately, which matters when you're aiming for the same flavor profile day after day. If you're a small family household or entertain friends who expect a latte or macchiato on the weekend, the E8's ability to switch between espresso, coffee, and milk-based drinks without manual adjustments shines. On the flip side, if your coffee consumption is limited to a single black coffee a day, or you're happy with a simple drip machine, the investment in a Jura may feel overkill. The machine's footprint, roughly the size of a small dishwasher, means you need a dedicated counter space, and the price point is firmly in the premium range. Those constraints are the first red flags for a buyer on a tight budget or with limited kitchen real estate. Let's dig into everyday usability. The user interface is a sleek, backlit panel with clearly labeled icons. After the initial setup, which took about 15 minutes loading the beans, filling the water tank, and priming the milk system, I could start brewing with a single tap. The machine remembers your last settings, so if you regularly drink a latte, the next morning you just press the latte button and it does the rest. That set it and forget it vibe is a genuine time saver, especially on chaotic weekday mornings when you're juggling kids and commute prep. However, there is a subtle learning curve when you start tweaking the strength or temperature settings. The menus are nested, and while the screen is intuitive, you'll need a minute or two to explore the customization options. It's not a deal breaker, but it's worth noting that the machine isn't truly plug-and-play for a novice who never adjusted a grinder before. One practical strength that stood out during my testing was the consistency of the crema. Even after the first dozen drinks, the espresso retained a thick, amber gold layer, something that often trips up cheaper automatic machines. The integrated grinder, which adjusts to the bean type, delivered a uniform grind that kept the extraction balanced. This means you can experiment with different beans, from a bright Ethiopian to a chocolatey Brazilian, without having to buy a separate grinder. The real benefit appears when you're hosting. Guests can choose their preferred bean profile, and the machine will handle the rest, delivering a drink that feels personalized without you having to switch hardware. The milk system is another area where the E8 earns its stripes. The glass milk container is easy to pour, and the automatic cleaning cycle runs after each use, preventing the buildup that often leads to stale-tasting milk. In my experience, the froth texture stayed velvety for at least an hour after preparation, which is ideal for a brunch spread where you might make several lattes in a row. That said, the milk container holds about 350 milliliters, so if you're planning a large gathering, say, 10 cappuccinos in a row, you'll need to refill it mid-session. The process is simple, but it's an extra step that a larger, built-in milk reservoir could have eliminated. Now for the hidden trade-offs. The Jura E8 uses a proprietary cleaning tablet that must be purchased separately after the initial supply runs out. Those tablets are not cheap, and you'll need to run a cleaning cycle roughly every 2 weeks if you brew daily. Also, the water tank, while removable, is not transparent, so you can't see the water level at a glance. I found myself checking the indicator light more often than I'd like.